Bro, you ever have some people just lock in their agent like 5 seconds in and you're like, well, I guess I gotta go smokes. It's a scenario some of us are all too familiar with. You either select your agent too late because you don't know who to play, or everybody selects theirs too fast because they know exactly who they're locking in. Or maybe you take the noble approach. You decide you're going to be the team player. Don't worry guys, I'm gonna fill. But what if I told you that this agent select screen is actually where you lose 60% of your games? Now, it might actually be higher, I just kind of threw a percentage out there. But the point being that a lot of times you lose the match before it even starts. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you specifically who you should and shouldn't play. Ultimately, that's up to you. But like low-key, you should kind of lock in Jet right now for this next match. Trust me, bro. And as somebody that recently crawled out of silver for like the 5th time, I've realized especially in lower ranks, you get one of two scenarios. You either get a team that is made up of pretty much every role you would want to have on a team, but everybody that's playing those roles, aside from like the 2 duelists, doesn't actually know what they're doing on those roles. And then you get the second option, where, you know, you just get 5 duelists, maybe 4 duelists and a controller, and nobody knows what they're doing, they're just doing their thing. So, does this mean that everybody should learn how to play a controller? Not necessarily. Especially in lower ranks. Again, I hate to use lower ranks as my example, but it just kind of makes the most sense for me, you know? As somebody that recently had to go through silver, I know, this is like the 2nd time that I brought it up, but like, come on, silver? Like, again, me? Yo, Riot, like, why am I getting placed in silver for the 5th time? Anyways, no, not everybody should learn how to play a controller. Hot take, I know. But initially, you probably don't want to learn how to play a controller. Eventually, you do want to know how to play a controller. But that's the issue. So many of us, so many people, hop on ranked immediately. No longer are there times where you hop on unrated, you test out agents, you figure out what type of agent fills your playstyle the best. None of that. You just immediately hop on a ranked. And then you grind and you're in this cycle. Go watch my other video. You're in the cycle and you're like, why am I not getting better? Well, it's because you're always choosing to fill and you're not choosing to learn a specific agent really well. And that kind of goes against the one thing that you'll hear people say. You ultimately want to play comfortably. You want to play an agent, or you want to play on a specific site, or you want to play a specific style that is the most comfortable to you. But if you're always the person that is going last on an agent select screen, and you're forced into Omen yet again, or you have that one duelist that is whispering into your ear during the agent select screen, yo, player 5, can we get a brim? Yeah, brim's really good on this map. Can we get a brim? Can you go brim? Yeah, can you go brim? First of all, I'm not the only one that thinks that insta-lock Jet should probably not be telling everybody else what to go. At some point or another, you're gonna have to get used to just not paying attention to what they're saying. But also, secondly, you don't want somebody else to dictate who you're choosing to play. Don't get me wrong, there are definitely scenarios, and especially once you get into higher ranks, you'll have more of a conversation. I can't tell you how many times I'll get into a match, and everybody immediately starts going, alright, like, you know, I'm comfortable with Killjoy and Sky on this map. Alright, cool, we don't need a Sentinel because I can play this. Or, I can fill, guys. No, but what are you really good at? Like, I think those types of conversations, A, need to happen more. But B, when they do happen, that's when you should be like, okay, well, you know, I'm really comfortable as a duelist, but I can also play KO. Or, you know, I sometimes play smokes, and if I play smokes, I play Omen. And then the rest of your team might be like, oh, you know what? We don't really want Omen on this map. We'd rather have a brim. Let's get a brim. Does that mean you should be the brim? No, I mean, if there might be somebody else on the team that can be brim. And if there isn't, then, you know, you have to make some adaptations. But your first instinct should not be, don't worry guys, you can all choose and I'll be whoever we need at the very end. Because ultimately, you're not playing something that you're going to be comfortable. And maybe it does pan out for you. Maybe the stars align and the agent that you're really good at happens to be the one agent that nobody picked, but also fits perfectly on the team. Congrats, you know, you got the one scenario that worked in your favor. Now, we arrived to the point in the video where I drop a little bit of a hot take. So, for those looking to comment on this video, get ready. This is your moment to shine. As somebody who had to go through silver for the 5th time recently, let me just say that in higher ranks, it makes sense to have a good team competition. But if you're in iron, bronze, or silver, again, take this advice however you will, but the moment you select a good team comp, you're giving the enemy team more respect than they deserve.
Reeling them in.
Spike down mid.
Bring them down.
Making cover.
One enemy remaining. You should have run.
My ult.
There are no smokes on my side of the team, and we are playing Breeze, a map that has arguably some of the biggest line of sights. You would think we are destined to lose, but this game ended up not only going in our favor, but we ended up playing pretty good. And you might be thinking, but you didn't have any smokes, Mexx. How did you get onto site? The problem with going with a specific team comp that addresses what traditionally are all the needs a team would normally need is that, again, you're giving too much respect to the enemy team. We didn't have smokes. When you see your enemy doesn't have smokes, logically, you should be thinking, well, they're going to have a hard time getting on the site. We should hold back site. Don't get aggressive, don't push up, don't give them one-on-ones because they're not going to be able to get on the site if we play good. But guess what this team did? They did the complete opposite. They said, you know what, we're going to push up on defense. Even though you guys don't have smokes, we are going to push up. Throw all the logic out if you're in the lower ranks. I mean, you know, sometimes you'll come up against, yes, the Smurfs, and yes, the people that got placed lower than they probably should be. But for the most part, when you're playing against somebody that's on your even skill level as you are, or slightly worse than you are, throw out some of that game logic. Because at the end of the day, what you should be focusing on if you're in the lower ranks, in my opinion, again, feel free to comment down below if you disagree with this, you should be focusing on getting better individually, so that when you do get to a point where you need to be that team player for your team, you are able to. Think about, how can I improve? Why is it that I'm no longer having the same impact as I used to have? Why am I not playing as good as I was? And that's where the self-improvement comes in. Because yes, Valorant is a team game, but it's just as important that individually you feel comfortable, but you also feel that you are good. To end on this note, shooters are naturally a game where you require some confidence. And as somebody that more recently has played a lot more with friends, let me tell you, when you're in a group of people that you know, you always feel more confident. You're always going to take gunfights that if you were playing by yourself in solo queue or with the duo, maybe you wouldn't be able to take because you don't have that confidence. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it is just a game. So if you lose, you lose. And if you win, hooray, congrats, huzzah. So focus on improving yourself to ultimately become a better team player. Don't just try to be a team player without realizing, I also need to be good individually. So enough of the self-sacrifice, and to tie it all back, that agent select screen is very important, but you shouldn't prioritize a good team outcome if you're not also thinking about what works best for you. With all that said, if you enjoyed this video, or if you have comments or any thoughts, go ahead and drop them down below. I hope this one made sense. I'm really trying to go off script. I used to script some of my older videos, so I'm trying to freestyle some of these, and I think these ideas made sense, but if they didn't, also drop that down below in the comments. With that said, have fun, y'all. Hopefully this is a good episode for y'all, and let me know what you placed in your placement matches. Peace out.